scare you? It's that time of year again. Halloween is just around the corner, and I personally love this holiday, if you couldn't tell. One of the best things about this time of year is all the decorating. The pumpkins, the witches, the spooky decor. I thought it was only appropriate to show you how to make some fun Halloween-inspired candles. If this is your first time here, welcome. Excuse my crazy Halloween getup, but if you'd like to learn the basics of soy candle making, make sure you check out our beginner's candle making video where I walk you through soy candle making step by step. Today though, I'm going to be making a candy corn layered candle as well as a spooky red and white and orange and black candle. The red and white is supposed to resemble some spooky bleeding, and the orange and black is just your typical awesome Halloween decor. Follow along as I show you step by step. You can find all the supplies you need at procandlesupply.com. First, we'll start with the layered candy corn candle. I'll be using yellow liquid candle dye and orange liquid candle dye for the yellow and orange layers of the candy corn. I'm not going to be using any colors for the white layer since soy wax is pretty white to begin with. This mason jar holds roughly 12 ounces of wax, so each layer should be around 4 ounces. I'm going to prepare 5 ounces for each layer just to make sure I have enough wax for the poor candy corn. We don't want them to be slacking on any of the layers. First, let's go ahead and wick our jar and place the wick center right on top. So we're going to place the wick sticker right onto the wick, pull the little tab off, then we're going to stick the wick right down into the center of the jar. We're going to put the wick center right on top. Our wick is centered. Next, I've heated 5 ounces of wax to 185 degrees Fahrenheit for the bottom yellow layer of the candy corn. I'm going to be using 9% fragrance oil, so that's 0.45 ounces of fragrance oil. Go ahead and add your fragrance oil and mix well. Now I'll be using 2 to 3 drops per ounce of the yellow liquid candle dye, so 10 to 15 drops total for the yellow layer. Once your yellow is added, go ahead and mix well. Now that my yellow is mixed really well, go ahead and pour your first layer into your candle jar. Let this cool completely before pouring your second layer, or the colors could bleed between the layers. Okay, so our first layer is poured. We're gonna let this layer cool, and I'll show you the other candles I've prepared. For the spooky red and white and orange and black candles, I prepared the candles ahead of time. Without the candles completely cooled, it's really difficult to do this method. So I suggest, if you want to do this as well, to make your candles at least a day before so they're completely cooled and solid before you start. So I have some orange candles and some white candles. To make the orange and white candles, I just used 8 ounces of soy wax. For the orange one, I used about 3 drops per ounce of our orange liquid candle dye and let them cool overnight. I didn't use any color at all for the white ones. This is just soy wax, and if you want, you can add fragrance oil. Okay, I'm gonna put this off to the side to cool. Okay, so since the orange and white small candles are ready to go, I'm gonna show you how to add some spookiness. It's really easy. You just need liquid candle dye and little wooden skewer sticks. You can get these skewers at your local grocery store or Walmart. They're usually pretty easy to find. I'll be using red liquid candle dye on the white candles and black liquid candle dye on the orange candles. Okay, so you take your wooden skewer and you poke a few holes around the outer rim of the jar. Be sure to keep the skewer up against the side of the jar when you're poking down, just like this. If you see right there, you can see it's poked all the way down the jar side, but right up against the jar. So you poke around 4 times is usually what I do. 1 on each quadrant of the jar. Just like that. Okay, so we have 4 holes in the orange one. Now let's do it to the white one. Now you can get creative and poke it down in different angles and designs. I typically just keep them straight, but you're welcome to be creative. Now you're gonna take your liquid candle dye and drop 1 or 2 drops right into the holes you just made. So for the white one, we're going to do red. Here's the white one. You see the 4 holes. Drop 1 or 2 down each hole. Okay, with the orange one, you do the same thing. So we have a white and red one and an orange and black one. Okay, so now you're gonna grab your handy dandy heat gun and you're gonna switch it on low. Take the heat gun and gently wave the gun around the outside of the jar so that the wax slightly melts a little and the liquid candle dye starts to drip down the holes that you poked in the sides of the candle. Ooh. As you can see, the wax starts to melt and the black starts pooling in different areas of the top of the candle. You can always poke kind of down the holes to move the dye around too. The black is kind of swirled around. And then if you see the sides, it looks really cool down the sides. And then as it melts, the color redistributes kind of. And then we're gonna play with the red and white one. Make the bloody one. Crazy looking, right? It looks like a bleeding candle. So as you melt the candle, the coloring will drip down and fall into the cracks and look like it's bleeding. So it's pretty creepy looking. I'm not a big fan of blood, but I'll be a fan for Halloween. Creepily bleeding. Okay, so we'll let those cool some and we'll go back to our candy corn candle. Mr. Candy Corn, first layer is yellow and he is totally cooled. So now we're good for the second layer. Okay, so I have my 5 ounces of soy wax and it's heated to 185 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I'm going to go ahead and add another 0.45 ounces of fragrance oil. We're zeroed out. Go ahead and stir your fragrance well. Now we're going to add 2 to 3 drops per ounce of the orange liquid candle dye. Go ahead and stir really well. Make sure your first layer is totally cooled and now you get to pour your second layer. Ooh, such a pretty color. So now your orange second layer is poured. Now you just need to let the second layer cool and then we'll do the last and final white layer of our candy corn candle. Okay, so our second layer is cooled and last but not least, let's pour the third layer. So I have another 5 ounces of wax. Let me move my feet out of the way. I'm going to add another 0.45 ounces of fragrance oil to my last and final layer. I'm stirring a cauldron, okay? Brewing a spell. Okay, so we're gonna pour the third layer. Okay. Now we just let the third layer cool. And then we'll check back and I'll show you all 3 candles. Guess what? Mr. Candy Corn is done. Doesn't he look beautiful? Smells so good I could eat him. Okay, let's do a recap. We did 3 different style candles for your Halloween party, gift, giveaway, spook, haunted house. We did a red and white bleeding candle. Then we have the black and orange classic, but freaky. And then last, the classic candy corn. Smells so good I could eat it, honestly. I'm actually pretty hungry. Don't mind if I do. Anywho, okay, so I think that wraps up our Halloween candle hunt. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any more videos. Give me a thumbs up if I was entertaining. And now I'm gonna take all my candy and crawl back into my hole. My precious. Bye!